All right. I have the pleasure of announcing someone who probably doesn't need an announcement because we all know him. Almost all of us know him very well. And he's going to be talking about a light being of authenticity. And he is a light being of authenticity. Our own wonderful Reverend Mark.
Well, I don't need this. That's kind of interesting. So I think I'll walk out here. This is different. So today, I'm going to teach you something. How many of you really love to just spend all the time in meditation? Now, I don't see that many hands. Today, I'm going to teach you something in the very beginning that is called heart coherence. And it is part of heart math. And it is to connect this with this. And so it'll take you 3 minutes to do this. Oh, there, is that better? Oh yeah, it's better. Good heavens. I was yelling at you. Anyway, so I'm going to teach you how to do this in 3 minutes. And this will have a slightly good benefit, which is that it lasts for 6 to 8 hours from doing this. And once your heart is connected to your brain, you can actually ask it anything that you would like to know. Because it is another brain in itself, now science tells us. It has the intelligence of a brain around the top of it. So I'd like you all to just close your eyes. And what we're going to do is take some breaths. Love the breath, God's gift. And breathe in 3 and breathe out 5. So breathe in, and then out 5. So it's longer. Breathe in again, 3. And then breathe out 5. And one more time. Breathe in 3, and out 5. Now, if you'd like, place your hands on your heart and imagine a person, place, or event that you're grateful for. Remember something that you really felt grateful for. And if for some reason you can't do that, just smile to yourself. Just smile. This is the body getting the message that you're not running from a saber-toothed tiger and that you can actually relax. And if you have a question that has been bothering you in your life, simply say, my heart, I need to know, what do I need to know for my life? And then wait and listen. Just keep breathing. Remembering that grateful moment where you had such overjoy, feeling so wonderful. And just giving thanks to the heart. You can now slowly open your eyes and be back in this moment. Simple, huh? Didn't take long. Oops. I'm not used to this thing. We're all in our hearts now. Thank you for doing that. You may do that every day. You might find that you will find many of the answers you've been wondering about this world and what it looks like. And you may find out all the reasons that you have to understand yourself better. Because the heart really is where the child of you lives. Doesn't live in your head. That's all your learned domestication. So what is a light being? This is something that's really interesting to me. A light being is simply a normal human being who looks beyond the surface of personality to see the light of that person. And that is my practice daily, is to do that. Sometimes I'm good at it, sometimes I'm not so good at it, especially if I'm activated by something. But seeing the light in a person instead of the shield of personality that stays in front of you. Each person has that shield of protection because you have to survive, and your parents were good at giving you all those things. And behind that shield is a gentle, loving child that just wants to play, wants to have fun. And that is a light being. You're seeing the truth of what you are. Who you are was all made up. If you were a boy, you got a blue blanket. If you were a girl, you got a pink one. I was the one that wanted yellow. So that's what being authentic is, being authentic to the light in you. Last week we talked about dropping the masks. All the masks of I'm a psychologist, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. That's all been acquired. It's not the truth of you. The truth of you is you are the light of the world. And that's probably very hard to say when you say, I am the light of the world. Your ego's like, yeah, right, if they only knew that you did this, this, and this. The truth of it is you still are the light of the world. You always have been. You simply forgot. And that brings us to the awakening of ourselves to our own spiritual magnificence within each other. And then we can see it in others, interestingly enough. As we awaken in ourselves, instead of trying to fix the world, and we awaken within ourselves, we don't have to fix the world. Our perception changes, and we can walk in heaven right here, right now, by the perception that we awaken to. Oh, yes. Excuse me. Gotta have these. The who of you is all domesticated. You've learned from your parents and role models. And as children, if you notice, we're always looking for approval or looking to blend with the people, and not because we don't know what we are, we've forgotten. And then we just layer up and layer up and layer up and layer up until we really don't know who we are. And the challenge is to reawaken that inner child that is the light being, because that is the miracle worker in you. That's the part that brings forth miracles. I particularly liked The Creative Thought because I read that book too. It changed my life. I realized, good heavens, all I have to do, we are image makers. We are image makers. We create through images. That's good news, but the other news is, what are you creating? What images are you giving your mind, your brain? It will bring it about. That's good news and bad news sometimes. The greatest gift that the infinite intelligence has given us is the imagination. And sometimes I'm concerned because these days it seems that children are looking at things, taking in information that's not their imagination, but someone else's imagination. I was fortunate to have lived when I had to create my own imagination and go out into the woods and go into the swamps and do things like that. These days, I noticed lots of people on their phones, and that's okay for communication, but it's gone way beyond that. It's more of a stream of information. Again, putting into you a shield against your light. Is that what you want? You can have it. The world, really sometimes looks like, as my father said, it's been going to hell since he was in 1916. So he said it doesn't seem like it's going to stop. He said it probably wouldn't stop if they blew everything up. Somebody would get up and do something else. So when the inputs are coming from the outside, and we are naturally believing that, because as children we had to believe the inputs to stay here. We didn't know any better. We had no way of communicating. And these people were big, so we felt they must know something. Yeah, they knew what their parents taught them. And the sins of the fathers bestowed upon the sons over and over and over. If you're in religious science and you are here, you're awakening to yourself. There are plenty of other religions. They're kind of like car dealers. You can go to one, get a Bentley, or you can get a, a Ford, or whatever you want. But if this resonates with you, then this is the truth for you. And this brings you to awakening the inner child who just wants to play and have fun. Doesn't want to be necessarily responsible for everybody else on the planet. Although we try to fix them. That's one of our weirdnesses. You can't fix anyone, except for you can fix your own perception of that person. Jesus came here to tell us, forgiveness is the key to happiness. Let it go. Hold no grievances against anyone. That's crazy. They don't care whether you're mad at them or not. But you're holding that translates into your body, into symptomatics. And then we go to fix the symptoms. Unfortunately, we don't fix the cause who's creating the image. So we must think and actually imagine what heaven would be like if you lived in heaven. What would that be like? We know what hell is. We've already seen it. We see it every day. So what is it that heaven would look like for you? Because that's what's going to manifest. Now, it may take you 6 months and you may have forgotten it, that you did that little exercise, but it will, like you said, it does come there. It comes back into manifestation, physical form, because we're image makers. I'm just going to give you an affirmation formula from a pretty amazing human being, Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla said there are 3 numbers in the universe that are absolute. They divide into themselves, and if they do, when you do that, that will teach you the key to the universe. So his numbers were 3, 6, and 9. So this affirmation is this. Write down this week 3 affirmations that you think are outrageous. You'd like, I'm richer than my wildest dreams, right? And you're like, your ego's like, yeah, right, look at your checkbook. So the truth of it is, you've got to go beyond that voice. That's just your brain hooking in to the old patterns. So 3 affirmations, and for 6 seconds a day, I don't know if you can do that, but 6 seconds a day, spend time saying those 3 affirmations. Do them for 9 days and see what happens. Just as an experiment to see how that works. You may be amazed at what happens. This afternoon, we're going to do what I call liberation breathing, and that is really to assist each of us to release the old conditioning that we don't need anymore. We're adults, and we don't need all those beliefs that we were given. So we need to release the light inside. And so today I would like anyone that's attending to have an intention. What's your intention to let go of? What is that keeps happening over and over and over, and you think, well, it's happening with different people, places, and events, but it's the same thing. Bring that intention with you so that we can release that. I myself don't do the healing. It is what I call the Holy Spirit, or the infinite intelligence, that does it. I'm simply the conduit that it directs it through. It tells me what to tell you, tells me what to do, and I do that. And so bring that this afternoon if you'd like. And if you wonder, you think to yourself, well, that's nice, but what about my parents? And what about the people that I've lived with, and that they're my family, and there's genetics and all these things, that they had diabetes, so I'm going to have diabetes. The latest quantum says that's not true anymore. Never really was true. What they found is, Dr. Bruce Lipton found that taking cloning cells. He took them and put them in 3 different mediums, which petri dishes, that had 3 different things in them, but they were identical cells. And then what happened is the ones that had, each one of them developed individually into bone, tissue, brain tissue. And so he went, oh my gosh, I've been teaching medical students that you're subject to your genetics. He quit Stanford, a tenured position, and said, this isn't even true. He said, what I discovered is what you're thinking about is what your thoughts are creating your environment all the time. So that was mind-boggling, because we all thought, oh, well, my mother had strokes, so I'm going to have strokes. No, that's a bypass. That's not true. If you see yourself as healthy and vital and alive and wonderful and having a good time, that's what you're going to be. Or you can think, well, my mother had strokes, so I got to worry about that because I might have strokes and maybe I'll be out. No, cancel that thought. Just cancel it. Just go cancel, delete, dissolve. I don't need that. That's an old thought. Or today, if you have that thought, bring it to here for the liberation breathing. Last 3 quotes I've got here. Ernest Holmes was really way ahead of the wave. He was on the edge. He said, there is something which waits only on our recognition to spring into being, bringing with it all the power of the universe. He also said, any sense of guilt we have, any burden of condemnation we entertain, or any state that weighs us down, hinders us from being more fully experiencing the nature of spiritual reality. It's time to release those self-imposed limits. You're welcome to do that today. He also said, life is not just something to be endured. It is to be lived in joy, in fullness without limit. That's what I believe. My life is about living free of limits. That's why it's called liberation. I'm free to do what I want to do, to be authentically myself. And that's what my life's about. Because in the end, who's with you when you transition this body? You are. You're the one having the experience. And the other people may be around you and may love you, but it's about what am I feeling? What am I doing? What did I do in my life? Did I extend love? That's the only judgment you're ever going to hear. I had a near-death experience. It's just, we don't judge you. Just show you how you loved. Did you love enough? Well, my goal is to love everyone, and I do pretty much. I have a partner that eventually will get there. I think, oh my gosh, that's different than me, but maybe different is good. Maybe diversity is really what we really are. And I thought, Dr. Bruce Lipton said, we are petri dishes with skin all around us. And that's what we have to do, is imagine heaven now. Not in the future, not when you're going to die. You don't have to do that. Imagine it now. What would it be like? What would it feel like? Feel the feeling. Jesus said, pray as if it's already done. Don't pray, oh, please, God, help me with this. God doesn't hear you. He's like, what? Oh, that didn't work. So just pray knowing what it is you like in heaven, where people are cooperative, collaborative. They sing great songs that are written by them. That was great. They share things. This is a loving community, and I'm grateful to be in this community. And you'll see me again, because I tried to retire, and I failed retirement. Thank you.